Hi, guys, and welcome to this episode of the Just My Opinion podcast. Over here on the Just My Opinion podcast, we talk about entertainment in Africa, in Cameroon, and in the world as a whole. So, if you're interested in topics like that, feel free to subscribe and hit the notification button. So, at the end of the day, everything we say here is just my opinion, it's just the ambassador's opinion. So, we want to know what you think in the comment section below. So, let's get to it. Hi, Ambassador.
Hello, people. It's your boy Ambassador again doing this thing.
So today we are going to be reading this article about Afrobeats. So a lot of times because majority of the Afrobeats, the most famous Afrobeat musicians are Nigerians. So there is this belief that Afrobeat is a Nigerian brand or is at least a brand that originated from Nigeria. Is this the case? Well, let's read this article which I think it takes us down memory lane and let's see if that's actually the case. So Afrobeat originated from Ghana and not Nigeria. Okay, so do you know that in the 1980s, before Afrobeat started trending all over, Cameroon's Makossa was topping Africa when talking music? Makossa is a Cameroonian style of urban music, like much other late 20th century music of sub-Saharan Africa. It uses strong electric bass rhythms and prominent brass. In the 1980s, Makossa had a wave of mainstream success across Africa and to a lesser extent abroad. Fela Kuti did not create Afrobeat, he only edited it. Afrobeat originated in Ghana in the 1920s, where Ghanaian musicians incorporated foxtrot and calypso to their rhythm. Around the late 1960s, a man by the name of Fela Kuti, also dubbed as the father of Afrobeat, added his piece to it and later making it very popular amongst Nigerian youth from about 1970 to 1975. And now Nigerians are spreading into Amapiano after some years to come. They will claim that Amapiano originated from Nigeria and not South Africa. Nigerians are very smart people when it comes to entertainment. Okay, so basically, I don't know, like, so Fela Kuti, the father of Afrobeat, and we know Afrobeat, even if Afrobeat didn't originate from Nigeria, but at least one thing we know is it was made popular worldwide by Fela Kuti. And I think that's where the whole understanding that Afrobeat is a Nigerian sound is coming from. So what do you think about this whole article, Ambassador?
So, at times things like this make me laugh. Like Nigerians attack me in the comment section every day when I give my candid opinion about things. I remember like when we did the whole video of R2Bs and their expectations towards Risky. And when I was there and I was like, yeah, they should not expect anything. Nobody was. Nigerians were like, yes, tell them ambassador. When let's say Burna Boy does something and they were commenting on an article, you see them insulting. I'm like, choose one. I'm either for you guys or I'm against you guys. Why people? And then at that time, they're no longer attacking even me. They're like, these Cameroonians. What Cameroonians? I'm like, okay, but when these Cameroonians support you people in this thing, so yeah, I just wanted to say that because I'm reading some of the comments and I'm like, these people, man. I mean, I understand you being proud to be Nigerian, but being Nigerian is not a job, man. Chill. One, and then you should also try to side with truth. Like, okay, Nigerians are right here. Okay, Nigerians are wrong here. Yeah, don't always just be like anything against. If you say anything against Nigeria, or if you say something which is not in our favor, like I might be saying something which Burna Boy has done wrong. Just because I'm a Cameroonian, you feel like okay, because I'm a Cameroonian, no, I'm just saying something which is wrong. If Cameroonians do the same thing, also I'm going to say the same thing. If Nigerian does something that I'm proud about, be like, yeah, Nigerian will carry last. I'm heads up with you guys. It's just like that. For me, I'm Pan-Africanist. I don't hold too much to this whole national kind of thing, Cameroon versus this now. If we have to start making money and we succeed in this global competition thing, we need numbers. And when they're calling, let's say, the 2 billion or how many billion people plus billion people in Africa, if we are going against China, which is talking of billion, if we are going against America, okay, maybe there are 300, but by the time they add their capital backing, it becomes heavier. So we have to play between population, GDP, and all of these numbers and get a good equation that makes sense to compete with the world. So most of the time, when we as Africans are all trying to be like, it's Nigeria, this is why hating on Nigeria, there's no point to hate on Nigeria. Nigeria has the numbers, and we stand to make it better if we can align with Nigeria's leadership. Hopefully, Nigeria can lead. Yeah. That being said, what we're trying to talk about is Afrobeat. I think when we do Google the history of Afrobeat, it is said now, is it when the sound started? Because the percussions and the drums and the things, it's clearly said Fela went and then worked with some guys. I might be mixing up things here. I'm not a musicologist or some music expert. I just have my opinion with some of these things because I've invested in music too a little bit. So I think Fela went and got in touch with the whole high life thing, and there's a strong high life influence in the music he already had. I think at one point Fela had also gone to the UK. He came back from studies in the UK, then went to US for some brief thought. He also touched jazz. He got in touch with jazz and then came back, the whole high life thing and all of that. For me, it's just an evolution of humanity. And wherever a certain generation meets that culture, they contribute their own to it. Owning those things, it does not make sense. Because like, okay, we think about it. Jazz maybe first left Africa, then went to America through the slaves, and the slaves working on these plantations, were making maybe their rhythm and blues, and then their jazz later on, and then we took it again. Are they going to say that the ones who actually started this thing, if we first came from Africa, then we came back and got connected to it? I don't know. Now, as to when they coined the name Afrobeat is something else as to when the sound started. Those are two different things. So I think the coin of the name Afrobeat was mostly from outsiders who wanted to refer to this popular African music that was now invading every club, every continent. They coined it Afrobeats. So Afrobeats with the S is what everybody is doing now. They are Afrobeats. I don't know what techno, Afrobeat, house, Afrobeat. Yeah, everybody's creating their own versions of Afrobeat. But now there's an Afrobeat without an S, which was started by Fela, which had the original high life influence to it. Then now everybody took those original drums, the way they were placed in, and then put their own national spice to it or their own style of music to it, and got all of these branches. Now, with that being said, even if I sit here and say, okay, yes, Ghanaians is true, Afrobeat is yours, does it change the fact that Nigerians are making the most money out of it? Does it change the fact that at the end of the day, the real thing that matters to every individual is your survival on this earth, how you pay your bills, how you feed your family, how you take care of yourself, and it's mostly from money. So even if I say, okay, high life is yours, but it's not giving you any money, it's not helping you provide for your family, it's not bettering your life in any way, but just that title of high life is yours, so what? What does it add to you as a person? So at the end of the day, when the Whiskeys and the rest are doing this thing, let's just think of how we can also get our own value out of this thing or monetize it from our own angle. It's not trying to claim the name, yes, it's yours, take it. Go and make a birth certificate and then hang it on your wall. So what? So for me, it's true we want to be historically correct and then trace some of these things, but it's not that important. So I think, yeah, I've read here and there. I stand to be corrected. I may be wrong. I was not there. I'm not that invested in music like that. That it originated from high life, then Fela picked it up, then had his own jazz influence, then mixed it up with the local tunes. But everybody refers to Afrobeat from Fela, but it does not stop the fact that it was a high life influence. But now I also want to trace that even the high life influence might also have some Lingala or some Sukus influence or some Makosa influence now. Are we also going to say that, okay, French Africa or Cameroon, because people got Makosa from us before you created high life, then those things just evolve. We are just like, should I call it containers, which various things are passing through. So
yeah,
I don't think it's that big. Yeah. Historically, that's what they say. Like, that got an influence of high life and then, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to read.
I wish I was here to set this whole question straight.
Yeah, so there's Wikipedia, which we all agree it's like a highly reliable source to an extent. So it says Afrobeat is a Nigerian music genre that involves a combination of West African music styles such as traditional Yoruba music and high life with music, funk, jazz, and soul influences with a focus on chanted vocals, complex intersecting rhythm and percussions. The style was pioneered in the 1960s by Nigerian multi-instrumentalist and band leader Fela Kuti, who is responsible for popularizing the style both within and outside Nigeria. So,
but now the question is this: so they are referring to it because that is when they knew about this music, and because Fela was popular enough to popularize it. You see what I'm saying? And that's when they tried. So, like, when most people are like, okay, Nigeria was, should I say, Africa was discovered in this year, and that's why people ask you, like, how can you discover a people? How can you discover a people? Those people were there, you did not discover them. So the same time you met them, that's when they met you. So they discovered you when you discovered them. So if you are saying that you discovered us in 1960, we should also be writing our books that we also discovered you in 1960. So that some of those things which it's not because that's when the West, the people who know how to give names and write books and then define things. That's when they met Afrobeat. It does not mean that that's when Afrobeat started.
Yeah.
Given for the sake of documentation and having a clear-cut history, whenever if we were naming our things, we would have named it before they came. But because we are not always good at writing things, defining things, and documenting things, if they help us to define it, document it, name it, then we just have to go with their dates and their times and their facts. So, yes, the African genre was named because it became popular enough at this time, and because the West wanted to refer to it as a particular thing, then they coined it as Afrobeat. And at the time, Fela was the one championing it.
Yeah.
So facts.
Yeah.
If the Ghanaians want to claim it, you cannot say that what you had was high life. It's not. We're not talking about high life here. High life is not what became popular. It's Afrobeat that became popular. There's an influence of high life in Afrobeat, but what became popular, the Afrobeat thing, the mixture which Fela had made, was started by Fela.
Yeah. Okay, so let us know in the comment section below what you think about all this. Personally, I do believe, like the ambassador said, at the end of the day, does it really matter where it originated from? Maybe to an extent it does matter, but I feel like present day and time, what really matters is the people who are championing the genre,
What are we
who
doing
are
about
making
it?
money,
How can we
and
better it? How
yeah,
can we
and all that. So let's talk about our sponsors, Echo.online.
As is the same spirit, how can we make things better? So Afrobeat, not Afrobeat, high life, not high life. You can sell your Afrobeat here, you can sell your high life here. How can we make things better? Echo Online is trying to better the living standards or the living conditions of African artists, everyday artists who are by default independent artists. So they don't have labels, they don't have structures to support their music. Echo Online is that one tool that is built to meet all of these needs. So all of the solutions are integrated in one. So Echo.online can help payment things, buying transactions, selling your music, streaming your music, selling your merch, events, all of those things, artist booking, all of those things. Some of them are in the pipeline, some of them are already live. I just beg African artists or I implore you to investigate some of these things, start trying to build it, get in contact with the team. That's how some of those European or American labels we look up to, or awards we look up to started. Those concerned were interested in it, they pioneered it, they pushed it, they ran with it. Yeah, so jump on Echo.online, create your profile, get your fans to follow on Echo.online, build a community. Once you have a significant community, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people, then you can start monetizing your art. So by monetizing your art, I mean, you put out your music, you decide to sell it, you decide to stream it. You can create an event by yourself, sell your tickets. You can also be booked for an event and you push the selling of the tickets on Echo.online by also sharing on your social media and getting your fans to buy it. Because that's where we have the real leverage. I mean, like there's also solid analytics on Echo.online where you could know, like, okay, my large fan base is in Nairobi, it's in Rwanda, it's in Lagos. So I should go and organize events there. I should try to target when I'm doing adverts for my merch, I should focus on Lagos. On those analytics, you can make strategic decisions. So I ask artists, jump on Echo.online, get the various interesting things. And some of these things, Africans, we build things, but at times it dies in the box because people don't know about it and people don't support our things. We don't support our own things because we just have that default setting of doubting our own things here. But I think so one of the things that I just ask artists, jump on it, start to investigate it, build your profile on it while the site's also being developed. By the time it's going to be a huge deal, you also be a huge student on the site here. So jump on online and then share your links with us.
Thank you guys for tuning into this episode of the Just My Opinion podcast. As usual, I always want to hear from you. What do you think about our conversation that we just had about the origin of Afrobeat? Do you think that this really matter? And if you have some historical facts to share with us, feel free to share in the comment section below. Thumbs up to this video. If you do enjoy our content, subscribe and hit the notification button. Bye guys.